Hello guys, this is part 2 of the coverage of the custom playset that I did. This is called the Hellgate Fortress, and this video is not going to be real long like the previous one was. In the previous one I covered all the figures in detail, all the components, and the background of the set. In this one, I've just got the setup. I mean, it's such a huge thing and it took so long, and the other video was going along anyway, so I decided to do a separate video. So this is part 2 of the Hellgate Fortress coverage. And here's the setup right here. I had to put it in the floor. I couldn't put it on the table. You know, I mean, I shoot most of my videos on a table, and just this thing is just too big. So I'm going to take the camera off and do the fly around and kind of get a better look at everything. This is the overall view of it. It's basically just a big battle between the Heroic Alliance. That the mission is to come in and shut down the Hellgate before the hordes from the Netherworld pour through to take over this planet. And the villains, or like the demonic axis or whatever, with the undead and various evil beings and dragons, and that figure, the orange figure in the center there, that's standing atop the or right over the skull in the fortress, is the keeper of the gate. And I figured it would be real powerful. That is an NPC. It's called the Creature of Doom from 1964. That it looks like the Grim Reaper, but NPC called it Creature of Doom. And basically, it's hard to explain anything but with this huge view. Let me take the camera off and do the little fly around here, and I can show you what's going on better. Okay, so this is in a kitchen that I don't use as a kitchen anymore. And I moved the table and using the floor to set all this up, and it took forever. But anyway, there's a river here on the outskirts of it, and basically the Heroic Alliance just got on the scene, and they are starting to clash with demonic axis. And this stream or small river kind of looks like the front right now where the clashes are happening. And you got some wizards in the back here, and they probably cast some spells to obscure the approach of the Heroic Alliance army, so that they wouldn't get shot with those cannon and dragon fire and all that. So anyway, they're here and they're making their move, and the big battle's going to happen. And we've got Xena. It's either, the so-called real Xena that's summoned here by the Heroic Alliance, or it's a parallel version of Xena, or whatever, but anyway, it's Xena. And she's going to clash with some werewolves there, and then you got these kick-ass elven characters here with the wicked blades. And back here, got some elite elves, archers, and then you got magic users back here, and some Viking type characters in the Heroic Alliance. They're just starting across. Now those 3 purple ones there are like, I don't know what they are, squid-headed monsters with weapons. They probably worship some dark entity like Cthulhu or whatever. And then you've got some centaurs there fighting with the Heroic Alliance. And the bridge here, some paladins are leading the charge across the bridge. And they're backed up by some really tough dwarves. who didn't want to try to ford that small river in heavy armor because they're so short. So they're going to fight their way across the bridge. And you got some crusaders there, and more wizards, and some undead there, and some really tough looking minotaur, 4 of them. There, it looks like they're going to try to guard the bridge, and they'll clash with the paladins as they come across. And various undead back there, and you got orcs manning those cannons. And a dragon there. That thing's probably going to take to the air so it can, use its flame attacks a little bit better on some of these guys in the back. But the good guys are trying to press forward quickly so that the villains won't be able to use the area effects without hurting their own guys. And we move on around, and hey, it's Conan. And just like the Xena thing, it might be Conan summoned from his reality, or maybe a parallel version of Conan, who knows. But there we go. Get a better look at Conan. He's clashing with the werewolf there. Of course, he was one of the first guys across. It's Conan. It's what he does. And you got some other tough warriors there, and some elven archers, and human knights back here. Plenty of archers. They're probably putting some arrows into that dragon. Probably not doing much good. And they got spearmen and swordsmen, and they're led by the cavalry, trying to flank the enemy's position. And you got some undead there on undead horses. Like I said in the previous video, I really like those. Kind of reminds me of Tombs of the Blind Dead in the other Blind Dead movies. And then you've got the Hellgate Fortress proper. And there's the keeper directing traffic up there, probably shooting negative energy bolts out of his eyes at select targets. And there is a member of the Chaos Warriors. That's a female there. And the Chaos Warriors are the last line of defense. There are 4 of them on the floor of the fortress there. And they are charged with trying to guard that apparatus there, which is powering the gate. If the allies can get in there and destroy that thing, either physically or with magic, then they can shut the gate down. The bad guys are trying to keep that from happening. And there's a catapult, and a couple of orcs manning that. And they're probably trying to launch some, projectiles over here at those human knights. And there's the gate. And inside there, you got another small dragon and a cage that can be used, to keep captives in for whatever awful purposes. And you've got skeleton archers on the wall. And those skeletons are manning those cannons, but they can't really do much with those things because the good guys got up here so quick due to the obscuring spells from the wizards that they'll blow up their own guys if they use those big cannons much. They might get smart and turn one toward this big clump of human knights over here, if they can do it before they get dispersed. Of course, the undead aren't too smart, so that's probably not going to happen. And there we go. That's pretty much the lowdown. That's the big setup. And it lends itself to a lot of cool stuff, and it kind of makes you want to use some kind of tabletop gaming rules to play it all out and see how it goes. Epic Playset, Epic Battle. And I'm going to put a link in the description for this video for the part 1. And if you haven't seen that yet, you can check that out, and I go into the background and, you know, all the pieces and detail, and this basically is just setup. And I'm going to go back to part 1 and put a link for this video and that one. So, of course, these are going into some playlists I have. One playlist for monster toys and another playlist for custom play sets. So, you know, just go to my channel, check out that stuff. Might find some stuff that you'll like to watch. It's a lot of monster content, toys, and comics, monster magazines, all kind of stuff. The stuff we love. And that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you like the Hellgate Fortress. See you next time.